Happy Vlogmas, y'all. So Christmas is quickly approaching. We all know that we wait till the last second to wrap our gifts, do we not?
We do.
So Donald's wrapping is impeccable. It is beautiful. I've always wondered how he does it. So he did me a huge favor tonight, and he showed you step by step all of his secrets and how to wrap the absolute most perfect present you've ever seen. And I will toot his horn all night long. So thank you. So thank you, Donald, for showing us all of your tips. And here in a second, you're gonna see step by step how to wrap a flawless present. And honestly, if you have some patience, I don't think it's that hard.
It's really not. Anybody can do it. So go out and wrap some beautiful presents.
Here's how you do it.
So one of my tips for getting a perfectly wrapped present is about preparing the present before you wrap it and making sure that the seams on your boxes are taped down and flush, and then I go around the side just to make sure that things are laying flat on the edges of the box so that you can get nice creased edges. Before we get started, I'll show you guys the tools that I use when I'm wrapping my presents. Couple of little things. One, good tape. You can get tape at the dollar store or cheap tape. It's gonna perform like cheap tape. So that's one of the areas I splurge. I like Scotch brand. Find whatever brand you like. And also, good quality wrapping paper. Personally, I like to go to Marshall's. They have really cute paper. It's good quality. The other things you're gonna need, decent scissors. These, I do get at the dollar store. They're sharp, use them one season, throw them away. I like to have a pen handy, and believe it or not, a tape measure. You'll see why in just a minute. And something to use as a straight edge. I couldn't find a ruler, so I got a piece of cardstock. And then the ribbon of your choice. This is gonna go nicely with our paper for this package. And a hot glue gun. So I'm gonna start with the bottom of the box, and I'm going to not make a mark right down the center, but I want it to be off center some. So this box is like 10 3/4 inches. I'm just gonna make a mark at 4 inches. And what this is gonna do is allow me to have a nice straight line. And now we're gonna get our paper ready. What I try to do is just kind of figure out to where my ends are gonna go a little past the halfway point on the side of the box so that I know that I'll have enough to cover. And then I'm just going to try to get a rough idea of how much I'm going to need to cover this way. What I'm just going to do is find where I can use the pattern that's on the paper to make a straight line for me to cut down. If I come over here, it's going to give me just enough overlap. I'm just going to make sure as I'm cutting that I'm cutting down the same set of trees the entire way. Cut. Then I'm just going to kind of eyeball where this needs to be cut. Mark it with my finger. And even though this looks like just a little waste, I always save pieces like this because you get little boxes and that'll be perfect. You're not cutting a square out of your whole roll. You can just use some of that drop. Just gonna come back, use the paper to kind of tell us where to position the box. And then this is where the line comes in, because you can use that, square the box on the paper, and it's not gonna be perfect, so I always put one piece of tape just kind of in the center, and that will give you a little bit of wiggle room if you need to pull the paper to shift it a little bit. Because when you're tucking your sides in, making those nice creases, you're gonna want your paper to line up. One of my tricks is I'll slide it over to the edge, and then I'll actually crease the paper at the corners where I want them. And just kind of smooth the paper down toward the direction that I'm working. And find where my edges are. And again, I'm going to put one piece of tape right in the middle. In order for everyone to see, I'm going to work on this side of the package. So I always fold in one side. Let's get over here. And then down here at the bottom, I'll press it flat against that bottom corner. And then kind of build myself a pre-built crease into this. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I do, if you'll notice, I've got the bottom of the package up. I'm creasing the top first because when the package is upright, that's going to be the flap that you're going to see. And so that's the one that you are going to want to make sure is the prettiest.
Which is the opposite of what I think almost everyone else does. Probably why yours are perfect.
All right, and after I've got the top done, then I'll flip it over and do the same thing on the bottom. And so you'll notice every time I move it, I'm just kind of making sure that these edges stay smooth and flat. What that does is when you go to fold everything up, it keeps the paper from shifting around a lot, so that when you go to fold your flaps down on the sides, you get wrinkled paper underneath them. It's not going to really matter how high up on the package it goes because this top flap is going to cover it. I'll just crease it and let it hit wherever it's going to hit. But the top flap, I want to try to make to where it looks like it's going to hit right in the center of the box. So I'll kind of make a line with my fingernail and then just fold that up over on itself. And just make sure everything is smooth. Make sure that flap comes over. And then just kind of give everything a smooth. All right, and then now we do the other side. You can pull your corner in and tape that tab down. It makes it look prettier. Everything's gonna stay right where you want it. But when it comes time to unwrap the presents, it makes it a little more difficult. So it could add a little fun depending on how difficult you want to make it for the recipient to get into it. A nice looking finished product if you start out with a heavier box. We make a lot of Amazon orders throughout the year. I save boxes all year long just for Christmas time and wrapping presents. So after you've got one side done, it's a little bit easier because then you can just set the box on the end that's already folded. Gives you a little bit better field of view. You can see everything that you're doing. And again, every time I make a fold on the paper, I'm just using my fingers to smooth out that edge. And so there we have a beautifully wrapped box. And now it's time for embellishments. So now we're ready to take our perfectly wrapped present and take it next level. So I like ribbons and bows on presents. I hate tying bows. I'll show you how I do it. So this one is going to be a little bit extra just because we can do it. So I always start at the back of the present. I like to keep mine offset a little bit, like, you know, you can do directly in the center, it still looks pretty, just my personal taste. I like to go off center, and I usually wrap my ribbon the opposite way of how my paper is going. Just, I don't know if it actually does anything, but in my mind it helps hold that flat. So, and instead of doing crisscrossing the ribbon and pulling off this giant piece, that's where our hot glue gun comes in. This is another instance I'm going to use the pattern on the paper to kind of provide me with a straight edge. little dollop of hot glue. Hat glue.
Hot glue. Got that country accent, Damon?
It's my non-southern accent coming out.
Yeah, he's from Michigan if you can't tell. This is like magic to me because I've always wondered how he does his presents and I'm getting to see for the first time. He usually wraps after we all go to sleep. He's like Santa.
Maybe.
Or an elf. Maybe you aren't Santa.
And so this I just do a couple dots of glue here and there just to basically hold the ribbon in place while I'm working. And so then when I get back to the starting point, I'm just going to take and cut with just a little bit of overlap and try to avoid third-degree burns from the hot glue gun.
My question is, where did you learn this? Because I don't know why anyone would ever do the crisscross, flip it over, if I've never thought of doing this.
I did the crisscross for a few years and then was just like, there has got to be an easier way to do this. And I don't know, I was helping Caroline with some kind of project and she had the hot glue gun out and I was like, I think that's the ticket.
That's a man solution right there.
I don't know how manly a hot glue gun is, but...
Hey, it makes it easier and prettier. You need a high temp hot glue gun and then it would be real manly.
We have one, but
it'll burn
the crap out of myself and I was like, yeah, I don't need that.
Ribbon's a little too thin for this.
This is actually something that a lot of people dread about Christmas is wrapping presents. I love giving presents and I love giving beautiful presents, but I find it incredibly relaxing. That's why, like you said earlier, wrapping presents after everyone goes to sleep, just get in my zone. We have a really good family friend, Kelsey, and she was talking about when we were at the Christmas parade with the kids that she was dreading wrapping her presents, and I said, bring them over, I'll wrap them for you. So yesterday, I got a delivery at the house of the presents she got for her 3 kids, and I wrapped most of them last night.
We all went to bed and he stayed up happy as a clam. And we woke up this morning and that is what inspired this video, is how perfect they looked. I was like, you have to tell us your secrets.
So we have the kind of the goldish foil pine trees, this gold ribbon. I found this in the bargain bin at Walmart for $1 and I thought, oh, that's probably, I bought it specifically to use with this paper just because I thought it would go really well. So what we're gonna do with this is we're actually gonna wrap this on top of this other ribbon. Just make it that much fancier. Adult family members, they appreciate
And y'all would be surprised, like what's inside the box obviously is exciting, but when you get a beautifully wrapped gift and someone put that extra effort, it makes it so special. And who is this gift for, Donald?
This is for our very own Kaylee.
I had to close my eyes. We may show you another video where I try all these tips and burn my fingers off and throw the box against the wall.
Okay. I'm qualified to deal with minor burns.
Donald is a EMT in school to be a paramedic, so he's our healthcare professional. See another video where he started an IV on John.
Because he was sick.
Yeah. Sick with the Bud Light.
The Bud Light pox?
Yeah, that's what we can call it. Well, you could wrap presents like me, and half the time the wrapping paper doesn't meet halfway in the back, so the back of the present you can see the box.
We ran out of ribbon.
I'm telling you, just do it back on the front.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see if we can, oh, so carefully remove
So even expert present wrappers have issues sometimes.
It's rare, but it does happen.
It's rare. You need a glue gun holster. That's what I'm getting you for Christmas. You'd be such a manly man with your glue gun holster. It can also have a spot for your knife, you know, and your scissors and...
Yeah. Go into Macy's.
Not that you need the income, but for funsies, you should go and work at like Macy's wrapping presents for people. You would be so happy and they would be so pleased with your work.
Yeah. We did have this little bitty scrap left over. That's gonna come in handy for our bow. You gotta be careful when you're doing this with the hot glue because it will burn you through your ribbon if you're not careful. Fold it over, make yourself a little loop, split it in half, get it to where your sides are pretty even, and then give it a few ruches.
And this is where the scrap comes in handy.
Goes around your center like so. And we're gonna fold it all in place with hot glue.
So I feel like hot glue may, ooh, you burnt yourself a little, didn't you?
A fingertip. Before we glue that down, we're just going to take another piece of ribbon in half on itself. And then fold it in half the other way. Cut a little triangle out of the bottom. Fold it over on itself like so, and we've got our tails. Like that, a little hot glue. Try not to get my fingers.
Already have one burn.
Success this time. Glue this right where those two pieces of ribbon intersect. And so now that we've got our tails glued down, the finishing touch is to put our bow on. I like to hold it just till that glue starts to set. Who wouldn't love to see that under their Christmas tree?
Hope y'all enjoyed Donald's tutorial on gift wrapping 101, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.
This has turned into a sticky mess. Keep putting my thumbs right back in the same spot. Definition of insanity. There is glue everywhere. All these surfaces covered in glue. You know what? Scrap that one.